Learn all about living in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico from Maria O'Connor in this video interview with Expats in Mexico. Hi, Maria. Good morning.
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
I'm just great. Hey, thanks very much for joining us today. Let me start by asking you why you decided to move to Mexico.
Well, I was just out of law school, and I was looking for something more interesting, maybe an adventure. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I took 6 months off and decided to try out what living in Mexico, what it was going to be like. And that was in January of 1990. So it's been a while.
You're an old hand in Puerto Vallarta.
I'm an old hand. Yeah, it'll be 27 years. Lots of stuff has changed, but I still feel like one of the new people when I see some of the real old timers here.
And why did you choose to live in PV?
I had been to Puerto Vallarta on vacation a number of times during the 80s. I initially came here because there had been a hurricane in Cancun, and my travel agent switched me over to the Pacific Coast. And I just fell in love with the place. I grew up in Chicago, so it had everything Chicago didn't: jungles and mountains and an ocean. And I just thought it was exotic and wonderful. I never thought that I never really thought I was going to stay in Puerto Vallarta. It was a small town. I was a city person. But the proximity to Guadalajara, to Mexico City, to other international places that are easy to get to, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, I thought we'll start this out as a jumping off point and see where I end up. But over the years, I've adapted to relatively small town living. It's not such a small town anymore. And I do every so often get a weekend getaway to Mexico City, for example, to get my fill of the big city. Most European flights, unless it's a charter, I think all European flights connect through Mexico City or Guadalajara. But both of those airports are easily navigable and relatively user-friendly. There are direct flights from Mexico City to most European and South American cities, so travel's really easy from Mexico. That's something that a lot of people might not be aware of. Getting places from here, it's not that difficult.
What kind of person moves to Puerto Vallarta? What are the expats like there?
Well, there's a couple of sayings. One friend of mine says it's the place for the wanted and the unwanted, and other people say it's a sunny place for shady people. I think there's a lot of different people. There are a few people that moved here like I did, people that weren't retired, that were looking for something interesting, something new to do, and moved down here basically as a younger person that was going to have to work and form their career here. Not as many. There are a lot of other people here that are retired people and people that retired young, people that are retired in their 40s and their 50s. I'm not one of them, unfortunately, but people that are doing a second thing, they've retired from one thing and decided to open a business or some kind of activity down here. Recently, there are a lot of families relocating here. A whole other generation of expats that have moved into the Vallarta area have moved with young children. Their children, a lot of people that I know want their children to experience another culture, learn another language. With the internet, people can work remotely, so they don't have to be necessarily in the same city or even the same country where their job is. So you see a lot of those people in their 30s, 20s, 30s, early 40s that are making the move here.
Are there job opportunities there for expats?
Absolutely, absolutely. It used to be basically the choice was English teacher or timeshare salesman. Um, Now, really, the sky's the limit. There are certain areas that are restricted for Mexican nationals. Government, obviously, government positions, radio stations, shipping, stuff that would be traditionally reserved for nationals of a certain country. But the laws is very flexible and very friendly to people that want to open their own business, open a store, open a restaurant, a brewery, a bar. You can. I went to law school down here, so I can work as an attorney here in Mexico. Really, the sky's the limit. I think the most important thing is your attitude, and in my own personal opinion, learn the language. At least try to learn some of the language enough so that you can get around.
And you're fluent in Spanish.
I am fluent now. I was not fluent. I didn't speak Spanish when I moved here.
And did you take
But
classes or did you just learn through osmosis?
I had studied French in high school and college. That helped a lot with the grammar and everything. I did not study Spanish per se. Here, uh, I did pick it up, and I did try to learn. Law school helped because all my classes were in Spanish, and that really helped me polish up my reading and my writing.
What you do for a living?
I'm a real estate attorney. I've been practicing here since 2002. I went to law school at the University Arcos here in Puerto Vallarta. And I am currently with a partner in a real estate company, Tropicasa, here in Puerto Vallarta. And I've been with Tropicasa for 10 years.
Tell us a little bit about your place. Where is it located and what does it look like?
The house was built in the 50s. I'm on the top floor, and I really only have three walls. The fourth wall is it's just open space, looking onto the Quali River, the ocean, and the mountains. The first question most of my friends ask when they come over for the first time is, "What do you do when it rains?" And the answer is pretty simple: you get wet. It's actually it's as close to camping as I think I'll get. But the truth is, it's lovely. You don't get wet. People have learned to live in open air situations here for a long time. The old Vallarta houses are constructed that way for maximum airflow. So you don't really need air conditioning. I don't have air conditioning. I've lived for 27 years without air conditioning.
Just fans.
Just fans, and the breeze from the river and from the ocean is beautiful. It's wonderful.
And what would $600 US a month get you in Puerto Vallarta?
Well, depending on the area you are, I think you could find a place for $600. If you rent a condominium, it's likely that gas and water will be included. Your principal expenses, aside from rent, will be electricity, and then telephone and internet and other incidentals that you might need. The farther you get from the beach into some of the more local neighborhoods, the less rent you would expect to pay. Apartments or condominiums or houses with air conditioning, you may pay a premium for that, but remember, you're also going to pay higher electric bills if you have AC. I live without AC. I'm the only person I know that does, but a lot of people have it and don't use it. Food, again, if you buy locally, if you buy at the markets, cost of living can be very inexpensive. Going out to eat every day is going to make a difference from cooking at home, and choosing the restaurants where you can eat at local food stands in the markets and things like that for 50, 60 pesos for a meal, which is kind of a great deal.
Tell us a little about the restaurant scene in Puerto Vallarta, which is supposed to be second best to Mexico City. Is that right?
I would say it is. I've traveled quite a bit in Mexico, and I would put Vallarta as number 2 after Mexico City. I love the restaurants. There's something for everybody. We've got a lot of there's a lot of people that live in Vallarta that are from different countries. A lot of people from Italy, from France, from Germany, as well as from other parts of Mexico. And with them, they've brought a lot of culinary talent that's reflected in restaurants of all levels, of small, intimate family establishments that are inexpensive to really high-level dining, stuff that's winning awards. And so Vallarta is a great place to explore if you're a foodie. And there are 2 events every year. One is in November. It's the Gourmet Festival. I think it's on its 25th year. It brings chefs from all over the world to feature plates for 10 days at the beginning of November in participating restaurants. And then they have food events all over town. They have cooking classes, tequila tastings, cheese tastings, and different themed dinners. In the spring, in the last 2 weeks of May, is called Restaurant Week. And Restaurant Week is where the local restaurants prepare a more accessibly priced menu. And this event is aimed for the locals. This is aimed for people that might not normally go out to eat or be able to afford to try a certain restaurant. Fixed price menus of either, I think it was, this year it was 199 pesos, or 299 pesos, or 350 pesos. And that's a 3-course meal, appetizer, main course, and dessert, which kind of gives people a chance to try a restaurant they might not normally try. And that's been successful. And that's started, gosh, I'm going to say it's probably in its 10th or 12th year this year.
And of course, Vallarta is very well known for all of its outdoor activities, so no one will get bored if they move there.
Nobody gets bored. I had a friend visiting last week, and she said, well, what do the retired people do here? And I said, they find stuff to do. When you live here, you like being outside. We can be outside all year long. So a lot of people walk, a lot of people swim. When they go to the beach, they do activities. The stand-up paddle boarding is really taken by storm because it's everywhere and everybody can do it. Water sports are generally inexpensive, and walking is free. And the city has really made a conscientious effort to create bike paths and walking paths along the ocean and along the rivers, so that you can really hike and walk and explore anywhere in town relatively easily.
What are the top 3 things you love about Puerto Vallarta?
The top thing, the people. The people are the nicest, the most wonderful, warmest people that I've met anywhere in the world. They're beautiful. They're beautiful places all over the world, but for me, Vallarta is Vallarta because of the people. I love the ocean. I love being able to walk down to the ocean, and it's kind of my happy place. If you have a bad day, you walk down to the ocean, and you just think to yourself, you live here, and then it doesn't seem as bad. And I like the fact that when most people are here, everybody seems to be happy and in a good mood. Sure, people have bad days and everything like that, but there's something about Puerto Vallarta that just puts a smile on everyone's face.
What recommendations or advice would you give to someone who's thinking about moving to Puerto Vallarta?
I'd probably say I would say do it wisely. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you're thinking of moving here from the United States and you have the option of keeping your home and not selling it for a while, or putting things in storage or something like that, if you want to go back, I'd say why not? Do that, and then you could always go back if you didn't like it. Move down here, and maybe rent something for 6 months before you would want to jump in and buy something. If you're somebody that's already owns something here and thinking of moving here more full time, well, that's different. But if you don't know Vallarta that well, or the neighborhoods, if you rent, you could rent an apartment, a couple of different places, and decide what part of Vallarta you really like. And then you make the decision.
Any parting thoughts that you'd like to pass along to expats that are thinking about moving to Puerto Vallarta, or aspiring expats who are thinking about moving to Mexico for the first time?
I would say don't be shy. Reach out and talk to people like me, to all of us that live here. We love talking about Puerto Vallarta, and we love to tell other people what we've learned. Nobody wants anybody to have a bad time or a bad experience. I want people to have as wonderful experience as I have. So anything that any of us could do to help you have a better experience in moving down here, we're all for it.
Muchas gracias, Maria.